month of December. The year's almost gone. My, how time flies. I hope everything is going well for you. If you're like Sue and me, you're chasing your tail, trying to make sure you got everything you need for the grandkids, last minute preparations. Hopefully by the time this airs, I'll have my tree up. Yes, I still go for the real tree. I don't know how much longer I'll do that, but I'm a big C7 twinkle bulb fan and bought a whole case of them years ago, many years ago. Still have the majority of that case. So, not sure you can put those bulbs on a fake tree. And I just like the way they blink individually, not some big, everything all at once. So, still stuck on the real tree until I can find my way to a fake tree that takes C7 blinker bulbs. And if you know of one, let me know. This is important. It would save me a lot of effort. I hope you're doing well. I just want you to take a moment and think about that verse. There's basically two verses in in Luke chapter 2 and verse 11 and 12. Jesus appeared on this earth as a child in a manger, wrapped in swaddling clothes, there basically in the elements to some degree. I'm sure it wasn't the warmest place in the world to be. That's where he would be born. That's how he would appear on this earth. Secondly, it tells us in Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 11 and 12, that he did that so that he could fully identify with us as human beings. And he actually, his experiences, all of them, even his suffering, was part of that identification. And I just want you to take a moment and think about the season that we're in. We could get so swept up in all the things that are happening, but don't let the world pass you by and not identify. Try and see it as Jesus sees it. When you hear something that's on the news that's, say, disturbing or troubling, try and see it as Jesus sees it. Try and identify with people, their needs, their hurts, their heartaches, the suffering that they go through. A great part of Jesus' suffering was just being fully aware, cognizant of what people were experiencing, not only in the moment, but what their future experience would be if they rejected him. This informs our prayer. It informs our relationship with others. It informs us in terms of the moment that we're in. It gives us a sense of real purpose. One of the reasons why we come to church is so that we can identify with other brothers and sisters. And yes, they are brothers and sisters. I know those terms perhaps have been spiritualized to the point that it's redundant and people have become familiar with it, and therefore they don't tend to, put as much emphasis or use it as much. But it's true. We come to church because that's the family of God. And we have brothers and sisters in the Lord, some that we know real well and some that we don't. But we're all bound by one Spirit. We're all born into the same family. We're all part of His church. And that's the beauty of coming to church. You become more aware of the special relationship that God is forging between unique and very different individuals, but bound together in one body. Hearts, in Colossians 2:1, knit together in Christ. And we come and we identify with that. When we take communion, we identify was something that we all share in common. It was his body, it was his blood, it was his sacrifice. And yet we all partake of that together. We're one body, we're one as recipients of the redemption that came through Jesus Christ. What a privilege we have. I hope that for myself, I don't go through this season and become indifferent, as I think so many times we're tempted to do. One of the great, kind of, how can I say it, passive sins that we all commit, I know I do, is just to become indifferent and not be able to identify with what I hear about, what I see, what's happening in the world around me. Let's make this time a time of special identification with everything around us. And yeah, I know there's a degree of responsibility and perhaps even emotional turmoil that comes with that. You might want to call it suffering because you see something that might bother you or hear something that might trouble you. But isn't that exactly what the Spirit of Christ did and is doing in us? I think so. It's going to be a great year. I hope you have a beautiful Christmas. I'll be saying that more as we get closer to it. But please know that from the bottom of our hearts, Sue and I and all of our family are incredibly grateful for the time that we've been able to share with our church family. Till next time, friends, God bless you.